What is up, everybody watching on the True Heel Heat Facebook, YouTube, Twitter? We are live for more coverage of our crazy WrestleMania week, everything we got going on, as you saw in that beginning intro video. Right now, we are going to embark on an NXT 2.0 stand and deliver preview, and we are joined by the man himself from over at WrestleTalk, Tempest. How are you doing, brother?
That's me. I'm Tempest. I'm doing well, my friend. I'm doing quite well. How are you?
Doing good. SP3 will be joining us very shortly as he wraps up his WrestleMania preview over at Sports Keto with Kenny Bolin. You know, Kenny Bolin, those shows go long, just a smidge. Now, Tempest.
Yes.
NXT. You're sort of like us here on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel, where you were covering NXT and AEW, the Wednesday Night War. And then that turned into just NXT by itself as SP3. It is he joins us.
I just jumped over from Sports Keto, so I hope we get some viewers from over there that jumped over here. I told them I just did WrestleMania. We're gonna do Stand and Deliver, and I got my boy, my favorite and my arch nemesis when it comes to trivia, because he's the only man who seems to beat me when it comes to trivia. Whether it be Greg Cherry, whether it be Quizomania, Tempest is always the person. I've literally never lost to anyone except for Tempest on these shows.
I can't quite wear this thing right now because I lost my AirPods over the weekend, so I have to use the actual headphones instead of the ones that go inside the mask. But yes, I am known for beating SP3 at trivia. That's like the #1 bullet point on my resumes. I think it's going to help the next time I eventually need to find a new job when they finally get sick of me over at WrestleTalk, and I need to use that wrestling trivia knowledge to somehow get another job.
This man's smart. This man's a smart man, and this is why I love him. This is why I had to get him back on the channel. He hasn't been back on the channel since we were talking about New Japan before they started giving us copyright strikes. So it's been a while. It's been a while, so I had to get him back on here.
It's been a while, a good long while. I think the last one that we did was like, it was the Ibushi and Sonata match at Tokyo Dome like last year.
Yes.
Nuts.
I think that was like
nuts.
the G1 finals of like a year and a half ago. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Too long. So
absolutely,
we're not gonna make that much of a gap next time. We got to get Tempest on here more. Except next time we're probably not gonna give him NXT to preview.
I thought it was free. I thought it was free from this pain, and here I am talking about NXT 2.0.
Yeah, I was telling him like he was reviewing AEW versus NXT, then it's just NXT, and then NXT 2.0 was born. And he said, "Fuck this! I'm handing this off to ZE, SP3. You guys got this." But he's here for our stand and deliver predictions and preview. I mean, we know you're not fond of NXT 2.0, but the standalone, you can't even call them takeovers anymore. What's your excitement level, anticipation level, just for this card alone, on a scale of 0 to 10 or something like that?
On a scale of 0 to 10, probably a 6, something like that. You know, there's the ladder match should be fun. I think Bron and Dolph Ziggler should be a good match. There should be good wrestling on this show. It's just the other half of the show is like Index and Duja and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I'm not going to care about that, but I'll probably have a good Walter match. There's just a lot of wrestling going on this week. You know, Supercard of Honor should be really fun. I'm really looking forward to that Impact show. Tons of GCW stuff. There's so much to look forward to that I feel like all of that has just kind of pushed Stand and Deliver down my list, maybe more than it would have otherwise, but I think it should be a pretty fun show. All things
How does the time work out for you?
Not too bad. I mean, thankfully, I don't have to do any like live reactions or reviews this week, like at all. So I can just kind of like pick and choose matches and shows to watch whenever I really want to. It's pretty nice. I'm not going to have this luxury for much longer, so I'm going to take advantage of it while I can.
And you got the benefit. You're not in the UK, although you're with WrestleTalk. You're in good old Canada. You're in the maple syrup land over there.
Absolutely. I mean, the time difference does help. It does help that all these shows will be happening during the day as opposed to 3 a.m. as it would be over in old English land. But even still, there's only so many hours in the week, and there's a lot of wrestling this week, my man. There's a lot of wrestling. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to catch up with like most of the big ones, but I've been watching a lot of indie wrestling lately, so my reach has just kind of expanded. And now it's harder to keep track of all the promotions that you need to follow. I'm going to do my best.
Yeah, I'm like trying to do the math on how I can watch the Thursday shows before we do True Hill Heat at 1 p.m. on Friday. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but somehow I'm going to find a way. Especially, I got to see Joey Janela's Spring Break 6 Part 1 with my man AJ Cray beating John Moxley. I literally said that to Renee Paquette yesterday on a prediction show. I said I'm rooting for AJ Gray, and she got mad at me. So,
and let me remind everyone here at the beginning of the show, some of us are going to be swamped with watch-alongs and reviews, and that includes me. Stand and Deliver watch-along with Sat E, speaking of, as he joins us to watch this show. Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, excuse me. Join us for that.
And
Really
last week
in with the landscape there of all the other NXT stars.
Doesn't he look like a wrestler?
He does.
Looks like he's on the card. He looks like he's in the ladder match.
Sat E versus Solo Sikoa. Let me see it.
Oh man, I'm totally booking that on the NXT review later. You just put it in my head. But I said this to him off the air after our NXT review yesterday. The open invite is there, Tempest. I know you're not doing a lot of watch-alongs or review this weekend, but open invite to stand and deliver, have some fun with us on the watch-along with Romeo and Sadie.
I very much
throw your ass up
appreciate
there,
that.
right next to right next to Imperium.
Put him
right next to Imperium.
Yeah, put him between Bron and Dolph. He would fit in perfectly.
Let's make it a triple threat.
There you go.
Everyone, reminder: like this video, share this video, be a part of the live chat as we go along here. I see a lot of love for Tempest. I love True Healy, but I just had to be here for my boy Tempest. And yeah, New Japan, they love copywriting striking people everywhere.
At least that's created. We do stick figures now for New Japan talent, and Romeo's very talented at that. So
yeah, it sounds easy, but it's a lot of hard work. Rage and J, Drunk Guy JJ, can't wait to be at the show Saturday. Yay NXT, woohoo!
Such excitement.
I know. That was such a fake woohoo. I know it.
Yeah, sure, I can read it. So let's start with this card. Let's start with what's going to be coming on the kickoff show. You telling me I have to tune in even earlier?
I know, right?
Out of nowhere, women's tag team titles are now being defended. Toxic Attraction versus what? Raquel and Dakota Kai. If you didn't watch NXT last night, you might be a little confused.
I'm confused, and I didn't watch the show.
I was confused watching the show, and I was watching it, but it was just like, man, they had like this really blood feud, a lot of like horrible things said back and forth. This woman basically had a mental breakdown and started digging graves, came back with a shovel, hit her in the back of the head with a shovel. They fought on opposite sides of War Games, but all it took was Toxic Attraction, the same team that Dakota Kai teamed with at War Games. All it took was this Toxic Attraction.
I forgot.
To say,
I forgot.
I did too. I'll be honest.
Forgot.
I had no memory of this.
I'm amazed you remember.
You're saying you'd be like, oh yeah, but
they won't dare bring that up on commentary.
The same team as they say there's no one that they left for them to beat, even though they've only had one successful title defense since winning the women's tag team titles back in October, ladies and gentlemen.
So they have no one left to beat, SP3.
No one left to beat. Beat everybody. So we have to put back the first ever women's tag team champions back together.
And I did also forget that Toxic Attraction took out Raquel during the Dusty Classic, injuring her. So that's why she was returning. And then Wendy Chu was missing last night or something.
She got
took out her too.
The story was she got beaten down. Dakota found her pillow or torn apart, and her PJs and her slipper.
It's like a cartoon pile of like it's like Darth Vader hit her with a lightsaber and she vanished. She just went poof, and the onesie just falls to the ground.
No, it's like low key.
To the pillow.
It's like low key. She probed him.
Oh, she
probed him.
Yeah, she got probed him. Yeah, she got sent to the what other dimension. Oh my God. Okay. This whole match and situation has like broken my brain more and more that I've thought about it. Because like I watched it and it was like, yeah, this is stupid. But like, I did my review, and now that I don't have to do the NXT podcast, I am trying to like, okay, I've done my review. I'm gonna just eject NXT from my brain. Like, I don't want to remember what happened on the show. I'm just gonna move on. But this has been like sticking with me because I was sitting there thinking, and I was like, imagine you just had to try and explain the women's matches on the card. Explain the women's championship match and how we got here, and explain this tag title match and how we got here, and be like, well, okay, so you see, we had a tag team tournament, and then the people that won the tag team tournament for a shot at the tag titles, they said, no, we don't want that. We're going to face the singles champion. And then the other person that's in the singles match was also in the tag team tournament, but her partner is now facing for the tag titles, but with a different partner, but they were already tag team champions, and they broke up, and she had another partner, and they've also maybe broken up. And I was like, who is writing this show? Actually, who is writing this show? If you just come to this conclusion, you could come to the conclusion of these matches pretty simply, I think. But simple and NXT do not mesh very well. And my goodness, what a messy build to Stand and Deliver this has been from the women's side. The men's side's been like simple and straightforward and like, hey, I want to beat Bron Breakker. Hey, I want to beat Dolph Ziggler. Let's have a match. Easy peasy. All this, I have no idea what's going on.
I don't know who the hell to pick. I honestly don't know who the hell to pick. I might switch back and forth from now until it happens. I don't want to see Raquel in NXT anymore, or Dakota Kai for that fact matter. They should both be on the main roster. They need bodies up there. So, but this storyline tells me that they're in line for a win here. So, it's on the pre-show. That factors in too. Like, do you start off with heels winning? I don't know. Who do you guys got? I want to listen to you guys.
I think Raquel and Dakota are going to win simply for the fact that, like, well, now we can just have all of the tag teams in NXT face a new set of tag champions. Like, I think you can only get 1 or 2 title defenses out of each of these NXT women's tag team champions before you have to move on, simply because there just are no teams. They said on the show last night, it's like, we've beaten everyone. You beat one team. So I think for that reason alone, you have to switch the titles, just because what else do you do after this otherwise?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Tempest, because it's like, to be fair to Dakota and Raquel, they didn't really have a first reign. Like, their first reign lasted, 40 minutes?
That's
like
right.
they were given, they won just to make more sense of this women's division from over a year ago. They won the women's Dusty Cup. Then that was for a shot at the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. They had this match that had a controversial finish where Adam Pearce came down with a new referee and got it in favor of Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax to walk out with the gold. Then the very next week, they were just handed new titles, the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, and then 40 minutes later, they lost it to Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. So they never really had a reign with the Women's Tag Team titles, but they are going to become the first ever 2-time NXT Women's Tag Team Champions at Stand and Deliver. I'm going with Dakota and Raquel.
Yeah, you guys sold me. I'm going to go with them too. I still hate that they're put back together. It doesn't make sense to me. Raquel should absolutely hate Dakota Kai herself, and no, I don't like this being put back together again. But yeah, you're right. They didn't have a tag team title run at all.
No, they had as much of a tag team title run as Dolph Ziggler had a world title run that first time. Just hand him the title and lose it on the same show.
It seems like Dolph Ziggler never has long runs with these world titles, regardless of brand.
6 degrees of separation right there.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like, it's weird though, because I don't mind the idea of putting Raquel and Dakota back together, but the execution of it has just been so weird. Like, you're telling me Dakota fixed all her mental strife and like her trust issues and everything in 3 weeks.
Like, no, in one moment, she still had the voices in her head when Raquel got into the ring, but when Raquel put her fist out, like, as a former unit, she said, "No, give me a hug," and they hug. I was just like, Wait, what?
There could have been a build. She could have had like a long running story of earning Raquel's trust back, like Seth
Yeah.
and Dean Ambrose did in 2017.
Yes,
You know what I
thank
mean?
you.
And have like the big hug moment come like at the title match. And like, I understand the title match is like 4 days away, so it doesn't quite work in that same context. But if you do a long build, maybe you do the title match down the road and instead. It could have been done a lot better. But putting them back together, I think, is better than keeping them apart. Just because what have either of them done since they broke up, really? Raquel, they dropped the title to Mandy Rose and then has done nothing. You know, they got together with Cora Jade.
They shouldn't
and
be
War
here
Games.
anymore. They shouldn't.
No,
What
they
do have to do
shouldn't.
here.
So I
Neither
just
of them
came
should.
up with the idea here. What they
What?
could have done here, if they're gonna make stuff that doesn't make sense. It was Wendy Shu and Dakota Kai versus Raquel Gonzalez and Cora Jade in the Women's Dusty Cup, right? They could have had Toxic Attraction attack Wendy Chu and Cora Jade, take them out, and that makes it a no contest. But instead of not having a finals to the Women's Dusty Cup, they just say, you know what, Dakota and Raquel, y'all move on to the finals, and y'all verse Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray, and then Toxic Attraction beats them down, Kylie Ray and Io Shirai, costing them the Women's Dusty Cup. So Raquel and Dakota, in one match, they become the Dusty Cup champions. They get this opportunity, and you've already set up Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray to get revenge, as well as Cora Jade to get revenge here in the Fatal 4-Way for the Women's Tag Team titles. In about 30 seconds, I made more sense than NXT has in the past 2 weeks.
And on that point, Raquel and Dakota should be unsure of teaming back together.
Yes,
they shouldn't be
absolutely.
just all in the moment like, oh yeah, that's fine. Okay, we'll do it. There should be
no
a build
reason.
to that.
No reason for Raquel to trust Dakota Kai.
No.
Absolutely no reason.
Let's go to the main show, guys.
Please.
LA Knight versus
Oh,
Walter. We do not call him by that other name that he's been given. We call him Walter here.
correct.
And this feud coming to us because Walter's tired of LA Knight getting title shots when he doesn't deserve it. And he's gonna show him that you do not disrespect this great sport. That's Stand and Deliver.
I don't disagree with Walter's his thought process, but I don't remember LA Knight getting a ton of title shots, right? I know he got the one on like this.
He got the
first
main one. He
episode
got
of
Dolph Ziggler.
2.0. But yeah, I guess that's true.
When he lost to
forward to this
Grayson
match.
Waller in a last man standing match.
That's the thing. Yeah, that was the thing that just it
That
didn't make
pissed
a whole
off
bunch of sense.
Yeah, I got Walter kicking his ass.
I do as well. I think Walter wins this one. Hopefully, this is also LA Knight's farewell for NXT, because I think he would be another perfect candidate to move up to the main roster. He doesn't really seem to have much else to do in NXT. He doesn't seem like a guy who would necessarily be NXT
You don't like those
champion.
young 40-year-old prospects in NXT? You don't like them?
Not particularly. No, can't say that's. There's a lot of development being done with LA Knight. I think he's a made man. So I think he could move up to the main roster and do quite well there. And that being said, I think Walter should win either way. Even if LA Knight stays in NXT, Walter should win this match.
Yeah,
it is WrestleMania season. You got to start thinking about who can possibly show up on the Raw after Manias and call up.
Yeah, you got the Raw and SmackDown after WrestleMania. You're gonna need some new, fresh faces on either show, especially on SmackDown. Because SmackDown,
Oh my God!
I don't. As far as baby faces, I don't know who they have outside of Drew McIntyre. If Cody Rhodes, especially if Cody Rhodes is gonna be on Raw, so LA Knight is a good candidate to move on up. So if they really want this to feel like an end of an era, yeah, I do agree with you guys that it should be LA Knight's final NXT event, and Gunther. I'm gonna call him Gunther. Gunther gets the victory.
Come on, why are you doing that? Why are you calling him that? Why are you giving in?
Just get used to it.
No. We don't have to get used to it. No, we do not.
This is my line in the sand, and I am not doing it.
I stand
I'm not
with
dealing
you.
with this one.
I stand with you. Next match on the card. Let's go to Tommaso Ciampa versus Tony D'Angelo. Tony D'Angelo has said that he will become the Don of NXT, and the one person who can cement his new status is by defeating Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa has practically been giving it away that this will be his last NXT match, at least. He's got his debut on the chair, and then he's got 4/2/2022. I would think on the way out you put over the young talent, so I'm going to go Tony D'Angelo here. What do you say, Tempest?
I'm struggling with this one mightily. Like, I was looking over the Wrestle League predictions over on WrestleTalk to fill out my predictions for this show, and this was the one where I was like, I don't know. Like, if this was another era, I was sure that the people in charge, you'd put over the new guy on the way out and you lose and everything. But of course, I don't trust the people who run NXT 2.0 anymore. And at the same time, I don't really look at Tony D'Angelo the same way that, like, oh, well, Sami Zayn's leaving. Let's have him face Shinsuke Nakamura and put him over on the way out. You know what I mean? It's not quite the same level of star power where I feel like if Tommaso Ciampa was facing Tony D'Angelo in a not farewell match, I don't think there's any way that Tony D'Angelo should be beating him right now. But that being said, if this is his farewell match, maybe D'Angelo has a shot, but maybe they put him against D'Angelo because they don't want to have someone that they have to put over on the way out. Maybe they just want Tommaso Ciampa to get a win in NXT in front of a big crowd of not Orlando, Florida people for the first time in how long? Oh, Lord. But I think I'm going to talk myself into going with Ciampa against my better judgment.
I think Tony can say that he sent off Pete Dunne scared. He sent off Champa. He could keep bragging about that. What do you think, SP3?
I mean, I think I agree with Tempest 100%. I said this on the Believe in Pro Wrestling podcast. This is the most unpredictable of all the matches on this card, because a lot of the other finishes kind of seem telegraphed. This one doesn't. It makes sense for Tony D to get the victory here, but the way Ciampa's been cutting these promos about this is the end, this is the final event, I think it's more akin to what's his name? What was his name then? Ty Dillinger's final appearance on NXT.
That's a name I haven't heard in years.
When he defeated Eric Young, he finally won a big match by winning his final match in NXT after losing all the takeover matches he was involved in. He finally won because they built it up as his final match. I am going to go with my heart over my head, my black heart, and go with Tommaso Ciampa.
Oh, that's dangerous in NXT. That's dangerous. All right. Next up, keep those comments coming, guys. Let us know your predictions as well. Super chats always appreciate that. Help out the channel. We'll definitely read those. Let's go to the NXT Tag Team Championships. Fabian Eichner, Marcel Bartel, Imperium, the champs versus MSK versus the Creed brothers. There's a mystery team out there that's attacking the Creed brothers. It's left them laying.
And they're from Boston. That's what the area code is from. They're from Boston. The area code that text Creed brothers last night. That
storyline is still unsolved, and that sucks for me because I really, really wanted to pick the Creed brothers here, but that storyline has got me all messed up. I think that they could win and continue that storyline with whoever this. Do you have any idea who this is? At all?
Yeah, I know who it is. In fact,
you know for sure.
I know for sure. It's the Boston Bruins, the piece of shit hockey team that's very happy attacking people from behind.
Deep cuts, deep cuts for the NHL fans. Deep cuts.
I'm pissed off today.
And then we also got what's going on in Nash Carter's personal life that we don't really have to get into here. But if you follow along on Twitter. It's not good.
A messy situation to
messy.
Say the least. And I think hopefully, for the most part, I would like people's privacies to be mostly respected. And in situations like this where it's touchy subjects and everything, and it's Twitter, so it won't be, but I would like to hope the best in people.
I'm going to go with, it wasn't my pick in the first place, but with everything going on, I'm going to go with Imperium retaining. What say you, Tempest?
This is another tough one. I think this one could be, like, depending on how good the ladder match is, I think the ladder match could be, like, one of the best matches the whole weekend if it's really good. But if it's, like, a middling ladder match, I think this tag match could also be, like, a dark horse pick to be the match of the weekend. This could be so much fun if it gets time. I also have a really hard time picking who I think is going to win here. I think you can make an argument for each of them. It's been a while since, like, we had the actual Dusty Cup winners do well and win the tag titles and like have a run, because like we got the Broserweights winning the titles, but that was immediately cut off. And it's just, I don't know, the Dusty Cup I feel like could use a winner to then win the tag titles and go on a run. And this would be a pretty good opportunity to do that, because I really like the Creed brothers. At the same time, I think you could be turning MSK heel, because I still think they might be involved in all this, but at the same time, not sure. Could be a new team. Same time, I wouldn't hate an Imperium retention, because I like them as a team right now, and they just got their first win in 2 months last night. 2 months as tag team champions. They hadn't won a match. They had only had one other match since then. So I think they could have another match. I'm going to go with the Creed brothers just because I want to see them succeed.
I do want to see the Creed brothers succeed too. With Imperium, you know, it also looks like you got to factor in they are building up Walter. Like, could he be the next guy to be NXT champion? And then they have all the gold. I don't know. SP3?
That's possible.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility, but I don't see the Gunther title reign happening. The Gunther title reign happening anytime soon. So I think that it is the right time for Imperium to drop those titles. The most interesting storyline in the tag team division on NXT is this whole who attacked the Creeds. And I feel like, the Creeds had a banger of a matchup against MSK in the Dusty Cup finals. The MSK and Imperium, every time they go out there, they have a good to great matchup. Last night was no different. And I think that this has the potential to kind of be the match of the night, depending on how the ladder match goes. I'm going to go with, on a weekend where the Steiner brothers are being celebrated in the Hall of Fame, I'm going with the Steiner Brothers 2.0. I'm going with the Creeds.
Not a bad pick. Not a bad pick. And the Creed brothers, you know, for a lot of people who don't watch NXT 2.0, they're one of the more enjoyable parts and parts to look forward to when they're on screen.
Absolutely.
The NXT Women's Championship, we touched on this earlier. The fact that Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai cashed in their Dusty Cup for Women's Championship match. This will be a fatal 4-way. It was originally Mandy Rose and Cora Jade one-on-one. Remember all those Home Alone tactics that Cora Jade just could not finish off.
Yeah.
Cora
white car with white paint.
Get over that. I've been mentioning that on everything. She is not the biggest genius in the world. Like, what? Cora McAllister. Yeah, I don't know about her being a great babyface with her actions those few weeks ago, but I really did enjoy that little vignette promo she did last night on the show, kind of listing
Cora Jade.
Yeah, talking about her journey, talking about always being a dreamer, talking about all the past NXT Women's Champions, including dropping she doesn't like Charlotte Flair, because I guess she knows that she's gonna have to job the Charlotte Flair when she eventually gets called up. But
I have a meme for that. Hold on. There we go.
That was random for me, but hey, to each his own. I think they have telegraphed that this is Cora Jade's moment. They've been building her up ever since War Games and her performance there. I think that it's just a foregone conclusion. They're not going to put the title back on Io Shirai. They're not going to put the title on Kaylee Ray just yet. And the Mandy Rose promo with Toxic Attraction sets up Toxic Attraction to lose all their gold on this show. So it's going to happen first on the kickoff with Raquel and Dakota, and Cora Jade wins here.
That being said, though, Cora Jade has no business being NXT Women's Champion right now. I wasn't looking forward to the match when it was just her and Mandy. They did spicing it up. It will be a much better match now because everything that's around her. She's not ready. She's not ready in ring wise.
And when has that stopped NXT?
I know. But she's my pick. She is my pick. Absolutely. She is winning this. I'm just saying she has no business winning this, especially with all that talent in the ring. Tempest.
She's my pick as well. I think we've been talking on the NXT podcast recently, SP3. I'm not sure if this was your point or if this was Sat's, that they needed like a women's version of Braun Breaker to be like, the face of NXT 2.0. And Cora Jade has kind of been the de facto choice for that, just because there hasn't really been other choices. I would go with Ivy Nile.
That's personally. The choice. That's the choice right there.
I would go with Ivy Nile personally.
It's her.
But regardless,
especially if you're gonna have the Creed Bros win.
Absolutely. I think they really like Cora Jade, and I think she has a lot of potential for sure. She's very young and has a lot of upside. I saw I forget who it was, and I apologize because I was responding to Phil Lindsay on Twitter last night, and I saw somebody say, and I completely agree with this. I completely think that this is the case and what happened here. That they finally saw Mandy Rose versus Cora Jade and went, "Oh, that match is gonna suck, isn't it? We should probably like fix that." And they just added Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray to the match to like make it not, I don't want to say a train wreck, but I don't think this match was going to be the best match of the show or weekend by any means. And it really reminds me of the TLC match from 2010 when Edge was just going to face Kane in a singles TLC match. And they got to 2 days before and they were like, that's going to be bad, isn't it? Yeah, let's put Rey Mysterio and Alberto Del Rio in there too and just have more bodies. And it ended up being really good. So I think this match still has the potential to be very good, obviously, because Io Shirai's in it and she's great. Kaylee Ray's great. I think they can pull this off. But Cora Jade, I think she's going to be the NXT Women's Champion by this time next week.
By the way, get Io Shirai out of NXT 2 while you're at
Yes. I hope this is her farewell as well, because there's literally nothing left for her to do unless they really want Zoe Starks to come back and be pissed that she's really moved on from that tag team and all of Zoe Stark's racism that she showed at that sushi shop.
We ain't forget.
Never forget.
Never forget that sushi segment. One of the top 3 all-time worst segments in NXT history. And that wasn't even in 2.0, ladies and gentlemen.
That's true.
Oh my God. It's true though.
North American Championship will be up for grabs in a ladder match. Carmelo Hayes, Solo Sikoa, Cameron Grimes, Santos Escobar, and Grayson Waller. Carmelo Hayes has called himself the A champion, and he had a part in putting this match together with qualifying matches. Santos Escobar, Solo, Grayson all qualified. Cameron Grimes had to win a last chance match last night versus Roderick Strong and A Kid. This should be a banger, as North American Championship ladder matches are. I gotta go with my guy, Cameron Grimes. The storyline has seemed to focus on him needing to win the big one, something he has not done. I got Cameron Grimes. Who you got, Tempest?
I agree. I go with Cameron Grimes just because I think he's the only one who's really going into this with any kind of like storyline behind him. The only other choice I had would have been just to have Carmelo Hayes retain, because I think he's just the best thing about this show. Like, he is so far and away the best guy on NXT 2.0 as like a complete package, as a champion. He's everything that I want out of a show like this. So if he retains the title and just keeps going, that's totally fine with me. But at the same time, if he loses the belt to someone like Cameron Grimes, that's cool too, because to me that just moves him up to be able to face for the NXT championship. And then hey, that's still more Carmelo Hayes, the most Carmelo Hayes possible. That is okay with me. Everyone else, like if Santos Escobar won it, I wouldn't be upset. If Solo Sikoa won it, I wouldn't be upset. But I think the only one who really has like a storyline reason for needing to win is Cameron Grimes, and I'm going with him for that reason.
I was waiting for you to say, if Grayson Waller wins, I will be upset.
If Grayson Waller wins, I'll be a little upset. A little upset. It means I have to see more Senga of the Thunder.
Senga of the Thunder. I'm just here to see the harder way off a goddamn ladder. That's what I'm here for, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here for that. I'm here for Solo Sikoa doing the Uso splash off a ladder. I'm here for Santos Escobar, who had a really good ladder match last year against Jordan Devlin at Stand and Deliver. I like pretty much everyone in this match, but you guys are right. It's really going to come down to Carmelo Hayes and Cameron Grimes. And these two guys had a great match, I believe, at Vengeance Day. And this has kind of been the story ever since then. This is where we first started hearing kind of Cameron Grimes be this more sympathetic character. I'll say it once, I'll say it again. I much preferred him when he was stacking money to the moon over this. I got to do it for my dad. I got to do it for my daddy. I got to make my daddy proud. And
maybe we get more of that personality back after he wins. Maybe.
I hope so. But I think this is WWE's idea of adding more depth to Cameron Grimes to prep him for either a big title win or a call up. But I think it's going to be the title win. He's the one that is all about this kind of story right now. He has a story. He's got to make his dad proud. Carmelo Hayes is going to be perfectly fine. And I just had an epiphany. The only people who are from Boston, the text message to the Creeds, is Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. So Carmelo Hayes is going to drop the North American title and find himself in the tag team division for a little bit.
Oh,
I don't like that idea.
Hey, I'm all for Trick Williams getting more mic time. That's what I want. I want Trick
Yeah.
Williams on commentary for this matchup. But yeah, I agree with you guys. This is going to be a banger.
I know what you're saying about Cameron Grimes. It is better, but I do like him showing like a more serious side, because when he goes to the main roster, I don't want him to just be looked at as a comedy guy. You know,
I'm
I want
sorry.
him to do more than that. But I have no faith.
Hey, I'm
just
sorry.
saying.
Who did better, the serious character of Karrion Kross or Riddle on the main roster? Who's done better? Who's that? I think one of them doesn't even go with the company anymore, and I think the other guy is part of one of the most popular acts. So I'd rather Cameron Grimes be stacking money to the moon and Vince be like, I got a cook out of that. I'm gonna put him with Randall Keith Orton. Like, I'd rather that than him being like, oh, he's a serious babyface character. Oh, I know how to book a babyface. I'm this man, damn it.
Gotta show depth. Gotta show depth. Cameron Grimes, my guy. All right, finally, the NXT Championship. Dolph Ziggler. Yes, Dolph Ziggler, the NXT champion, versus Bron Breakker. Yeah, this has got to be, first of all, when Dolph Ziggler came to NXT, this is the most attention, the most love he's gotten. He hasn't gotten love like this on the main roster since I don't even remember when.
2013. No, it's probably 2014. Maybe when he won the Survivor Series match.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe that Intercontinental title win against The Miz.
2016.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have liked Dolph in this spot. I think he's been doing good with this. But this is for Bron Breakker to have yet another moment, I think, here. Stand and deliver in front of the Dallas crowd. I'm kind of hoping the ending, there's two ways you could do this. One, I could see Robert Roode trying to interfere and get involved. I would love for the Steiner brothers, the Hall of Famers, to come and take his ass out, whether that's before, during the match, or maybe after the match. They just show up and raise Bron's hand, and it's like a passing of the torch, Steiner torch. You're Steiner now. I don't know, whatever. I'm tired of the Breaker name, that's for sure. I got Bron winning. SP3.
Oh, you tired of the Breaker name, the great Breaker name that Bruce Pritchard came up with? Oh my God, you guys are too into your hardcore wrestling fans' head. You want Rex Steiner, you want your Walters. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. You got to wear your Vince hat like me. Nobody knows these people. We're creating new stars, ladies and gentlemen. And Bron Breakker is going to have a star-making moment. He's going to be out there with one of the best bumpers, one of the best sellers in the business today in Dolph Ziggler. He's going to make him look like $1 million. Yes. And yes, he's going to have his moment. The new NXT champion in front of the live fans in Dallas, Texas. And I think that it's going to be a great moment for him. So yes, I'm going with Bron Breakker here.
Tempest.
In this situation, I would also go Bron Breakker. I think there's a world where Dolph Ziggler could win this match and have a little bit longer of a run and drop it to somebody else. But because of just how everything's kind of been set up, I think this is just set up to be Bron Breakker's moment and have a big title win instead of a title retention in Dallas. And I think that's really the only reason they've done this. If I could just rebook this whole card, I would have shuffled a lot of things around here. I would have a very different card for this big show. Like this main event, I would have had Walter beating Dolph Ziggler instead of Bron Breakker personally, and have Bron Breakker beat Tommaso Ciampa's send-off match. That's just me personally. But that being said, that's not the world that we live in. With this match, I think this is just, I hope it's really good. I hope it's really, really good. I want Dolph Ziggler. He's been having good matches on NXT. We know he can have good matches, but it's been a rough go for Dolph Ziggler on the main roster for the last entire run of his career. So if he goes out there and is able to have like a really strong main event match on a big show, that would make me feel like pretty good. Just like, yeah, happy for this guy to finally get a moment, even if it's in NXT. At least he gets to be a big fish somewhere. Fingers crossed for that at least. But I do think Bron Breakker's walking away with the title.
Here's my prediction for in a couple of months when we get to the Great American Bash. I think Bron Breakker drops the title then to Walter, and I think you see Braun go to the main roster.
I think that's really soon, but I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. If I could go back to that fantasy booked card, I would have had Walter win that title and have Bron Breakker kind of go on like an Okada-esque kind of like run where he went back, won the title early in his return, beating Tanahashi and Osaka, and then he lost the title back shortly thereafter. He didn't have a long reign, right? And then it was like a year until he won the title back. So I think Bron Breakker could have lost the title here to Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler lost the title to Walter, and then have Walter hold the title until Stand and Deliver next year, and that's when Bron Breakker wins. Because I still think you can have Bron Breakker in NXT for a while, because he's only had like 30 matches. He needs to be in NXT a little bit longer. You know what I mean?
Hasn't stopped him before.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. I mean, I would have rebooked this whole entire run. I wouldn't have had Bron Breakker get his first NXT championship win at New Year's Evil. It should have happened here. It should have been a long like run for Tommaso Ciampa being on top of NXT, and then him losing to Bron Breakker in front of the live fans in Dallas. If I would have gone back, that's how I would have booked it, but it is what it is at this point, and now they had to do. I mean, it did get attention for NXT. I will tell them that. I will give them credit. The Dolph Ziggler winning the championship got some attention on NXT. So, and it's a bigger star in WWE's eyes. It's a main roster star who's going to be in the main event at Stand and Deliver. So that makes sense as well.
That will do. Any final thoughts on this card or this show or anything like that?
Strangely enough, I just leaving the floor to us, I suppose. I don't have any like strong thoughts about this card. I think it's gonna be fine. I think it'll be a good show. And I think in the grand scheme of things, if you watch like WrestleMania and this show and maybe like Super Card of Honor or something like that, if that's your weekend, yeah, it'll probably be a really good show. I think this show has the potential to be better than at least one of the nights of WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you're only watching like 4 shows, it'll probably be like one of the better ones. But if you're watching all the shows this weekend, like if you're watching like 10 shows that's going on WrestleMania weekend, I think this show has a good chance of kind of getting lost in the shuffle a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to stand out the same way that ROH Supercard of Honor will or Joey Janela's Spring Break will, but I think there's a lot of quality on this match, and it's really about the moments with WWE, as they always say, and Bron Breakker getting his moment, Tommaso Ciampa's final match.
You think the Steiners will be out there with Braun at the end?
I think you're right on that call of Robert Roode kind of getting involved, and then Big Papa Pump. I want to see Big Papa Pump with the headdress, with the coming down and beating him up and taking him out. I want to throw back to the old TNA days and him taking out Robert Roode real quick and then raising the hand of his nephew, Bron Breakker, the new NXT champion. I think that's going to be the right way to kind of close the show out. And I mean, I will say for NXT, one thing I do got to give them credit for, I've said it to Tempest before on the WrestleTalk NXT review, they have done a significantly better job of getting fans hyped for Stand and Deliver than Raw or SmackDown did for WrestleMania. They have been very focused on Stand and Deliver, despite having a goddamn special in the middle of this like roadblock. And you know how WWE is whenever there's a fast lane or elimination chamber before WrestleMania, they always get distracted. Even with that in the way, they literally, were able to build hype for Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
So, yeah. That is all for the preview of NXT Stand and Deliver. We want to thank Tempest for joining us, being our great, as always, special guest, the most knowledgeable man in wrestling media when it comes to everything, the trivia master, the Quizlemania champion. Please let the people know where they can find you, sir, and everything you got going on.
Well, of course, you can find me on Twitter at TempestWT. Make sure you go and follow me. I'm almost at like another 100 subscribers, like 2 away, so or followers. So just like a couple more of those would be awesome. Otherwise, you can follow me everywhere on YouTube. There's like 5 channels I work on at this point. Subscribe to WrestleTalk Podcast. Parts Fun Known. Everybody subscribe to Parts Fun Known. Less than 1,000 away from 200,000, and we want to be there by WrestleMania, and it's tight. We really need a big push. So if you haven't subscribed to Parts Fun Known, make sure you do that. We do a lot of really fun stuff, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Tempest Likes Wrestling, right here. I promise I will post on it again at some point. It's been neglected a little bit, but that's just because I've been so busy. So just make sure you subscribe to all of those and follow me on Twitter, and I will make sure that eventually I'll come back to it.
We got Rob in the live chat. Thanks for joining us, Rob. I've been seeing you in the live chat, showing us love. Thanks for everyone who's joining us in the live chat as well, except for whoever's spamming our chat. But Romeo, let the people know where they can find you.
True Hill Romeo on Twitter and Instagram. I just realized the majority of our picks here, we crowned 5 new champions on Stand and Deliver.
It's Mania weekend.
Hey, it's a Mania weekend. You got to get the big title changes. And one thing I did want to mention about the North American Championship, wouldn't you guys all wish that the U.S. and the Intercontinental title were treated even just a quarter as well as the North American title?
That's wild.
Yeah,
that's wild.
I mean, as far as NXT and NXT 2.0, like NXT 2.0 hasn't gotten an awful lot right, but this North American title has been pretty consistent, and I think that also has a lot to do with the fact that Carmelo Hayes is excellent. Keep in mind, before Carmelo Hayes, the North American champion didn't win on NXT for like a year, so I'll take that with a grain of salt. But the title still feels a bit more prestigious, and going into a show like this, I expect it to be defended in a good match.
Yes. And a reminder, if you missed it earlier, watch along Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern with Sat E. Join us for that as we watch this.
Of course, remember to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe if you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, because there's plenty of content. You got the NXT Stand and Deliver watch along. You got WrestleMania's Night 1 and 2 watch along. All the GCW, the collective events. We're going to be over on Twitch for the Culture and Bloodsport 8. We're going to be on there for Joey Janela Spring Break 6 Part 2, Joey Janela Spring Break 6 Part 1. It's going to be here for Blunt Impact with our Patreon backers, patreon.com/True Hill Heat, $3 a month. You can become a part of Blunt Impact this week on Thursday and join us live for that. And I will be back on the channel tomorrow at 1:05 p.m. Eastern time with myself and Jimmy Macaram reviewing AEW Dynamite, and Romeo will be back here tonight for our AEW Dynamite watch along with special guest Jarrett Bailey. So much to enjoy from the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. So big thanks. Big thanks to Tempest for joining us for our preview here. Thank you to Romeo. Thank you to everyone in the live chat showing support. This has been our NXT Stand and Deliver preview and predictions. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we will join you next time. Enjoy the show this Saturday.